The Minnesota Vikings are just moments away from being able to make their pick. But what picks are they going to make? I have a full 7-round mock draft full of predictions based on intel, data, and the film. Let's talk about it. The Minnesota Vikings are looking to improve their roster heading into the 2025 season. JJ McCarthy is full go for OTAs, and there's a lot of excitement surrounding this football team. But they need to nail the NFL draft. And one of the things that they need to nail is getting more picks. They only have 4 picks going into Thursday's NFL draft, but they can acquire more. One of the ways that they can do that by trading. And that's what they do with the first pick in this draft. I gave out my predictions. I wrote it for A2Zsports.com. You can go check that out. And you can watch the video, and there's going to be some more context you can add from the written side. So it's a little bit of fun. So this is full predictive. I use it with intel, film, data, and scheme fit. Those are all important factors. It's also how I built my horizontal boards. So the Vikings I had trading down with the Baltimore Ravens, just a couple spots. So 24 to 27, they get pick 27, 129 in the 4th round, and 203 in the 6th. So that is technically a slight loss according to the Jimmy Johnson trade chart, the equivalent of a late 6th round pick. And it's a win across the board. A late 7th gain in the Rich Hill trade chart. Both of those are conventional. And then the analytics charts. The Stewart is a value of the mid 4th round pick. Over the cap and PFF, late 3rd round pick. And then the Ben Baldwin chart, a mid 4th. So the Vikings would be getting a little bit of value back on the majority of the trade charts. We got to remember, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah has his own, and it's about player targeting. Not just talking about what the pick is. Players matter in this context, and I don't think that gets mentioned enough, and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah has something built for that. And he ends up picking Walter Nolan, the defensive tackle for Ole Miss. He was the number 1 overall recruit in the 2022 recruiting class, went to Texas A&M. That defensive line was so loaded, he decided to go to Ole Miss. There was some rumors, some behind-the-scenes stuff, but nothing that I have been able to confirm. But he is the exact type of 3-tech the Vikings want. He's a one gap penetrator, and he can slant where you're moving at an angle on the line of scrimmage. He can stunt, which Brian Flores loves to do. And the athleticism he has at 6'3", 305 is incredible. He also packs a really powerful punch. Isn't consistent with it, but he can do it. Why is he falling this far? He struggles against double teams, and his motor in the run game is inconsistent. But considering who you have in front of him, if you could get him in this culture, help him grow and develop, and be able to handle some of those other responsibilities, you could have a really, really good football player long-term. And as Kwesi said in his pre-draft press conference, these are the types of guys that you cannot find in free agency or later in the draft. Take them when you can get them. And that's exactly what he does here. The next pick is from Kansas. He made the All-Forno team, and that is cornerback Coby Bryant. Yes, his real name is Jacoby Bryant. Obviously, you know why he's named after Black Mamba himself. Coby Bryant is excellent. He made the All-Forno team. He's about 6 feet tall, 175, 180 pounds, and he doesn't play like he's small. He plays feisty. He'll punch you in the mouth. He will stick in your hip pocket. So he'll run with you down the sidelines, and he will stick with you and attack the ball violently in the air. He's at his best when he's able to play a little bit of cover 3 or quarters, and he's able to really trigger downhill when he sees stuff happening in front of him. He has a lot of ball production in college with a bunch of interceptions, including a couple for touchdowns. Coby Bryant is the exact type of player that the Minnesota Vikings have targeted at cornerback. Take a look at Byron Murphy Jr. Take a look at Mekhi Blackman. Take a look at Isaiah Rodgers. He is a taller version of those players, and I think that will translate really well, and it'll also continue the trend of Kwesi Adofo-Mensah taking a guy around pick 100 at cornerback. This will be the 3rd time in 4 drafts that he would have done so. Now, the next player is at 129, the pick we got from the Baltimore Ravens. Offensive lineman Miles Frasier from LSU. He played next to Emory Jones, who's also expected to be taken sometime during the NFL draft. And on the other side is Will Campbell, who's likely going to go 4th overall to the New England Patriots. He provides a really stable player, but there are some things he needs to clean up. He needs to work on his balance a little bit, not get out in front of his feet, but he can handle power, and he can move people. He had a great Senior Bowl, and being able to have him in this sense is going to be excellent long-term. The next guy is Trevor Etienne at 139, the running back from Georgia. Transferred from Florida after 2 years there and thrived still with the Georgia Bulldogs. He did miss a game early in the year because he had an off-season DUI arrest, but if the Vikings don't have a problem as far as projecting forward, this is a great fit. He almost made the All-4-0 team. He ran a 4.43 40. He's only 5'8", but he's built. He's around 200 pounds. He is not small, and he can handle a workload. He's never handled a full workload, but if you put him as a 1A or 1B, I think he can thrive. He's got speed. He's got the ability to use vision with both zone and gap concepts, and he can outrun you with both burst and long speed. This is a guy that I would want on my football team, and he can grow and develop behind Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones and potentially become that 1A or 1B down the road. A great use of a 4th-round pick. The next guy is a Ronda Gadston II, tight end from Syracuse at 187. So this is going to be twofold. One, the Minnesota Vikings have always taken at least one player that they had on a top 30 visit. That is going to be Gadsden in this draft. He is a true pass catcher, a true junior coming out of Syracuse. My goodness, this guy can catch everything. And he's used as a big slot. He's used out wide. He's about 240 pounds, not really known as much of a blocker. But you know what? He's an elite pass catcher. So you know what you can do? Get him strength and teach him how to block. It's exactly what happened with Josh Oliver. He was known as only a pass catcher coming out of San Jose State just a few years back. Then when the Baltimore Ravens got him 2 years into his career, they're like, all right, you're going to block. And they made him one of the best blocking tight ends in the National Football League. Tight end is a very hard position to translate to in the National Football League. But if you have a great skill, we can try and build the other one up. And this is a really good dart throw to make in round 6. It gives you that third tight end to continue to grow and develop. And now you have a guy who could potentially take over that Josh Oliver role long term. I really like what Gadsden brings to the table, and I think you can grow that blocking element because the effort is there. He just needs tools to be able to really put them to use. The final pick is somebody that I have heard connected to the Vikings for quite a while. Wide receiver Kymir DK from the University of Florida at 203rd overall. Last year, the Minnesota Vikings selected Will Reichard at 203rd overall, so they're used to having this selection. The Vikings need depth at wide receiver, and I could argue, and I have made the argument that wide receiver could be in play at 24th overall, especially with a guy like a Metcalf on the board, who I absolutely love in this class. DK, he's going to be a special teams ace no matter what. But I do think that there is some development potential to be had. Now, he is not Puka Nacua, but some of the ways that he likes to win downfield, be able to cut inside and hit those crossing routes, the in breakers, and how he's able to accelerate and decelerate out of his breaks, I think DK reminds me a little bit of Puka in that sense. Plus, he's got all the effort in the world to block. He's more than just willing. He's good at it too. And with a 4.34 40-yard dash, there is something there with DK. Is he ever going to fully develop? Who knows? But in the 6th round, you know you're getting a special teams ace. I'm taking this bet 10 out of 10. Why? Look, you want to find guys like Stephon Diggs and Tom Brady at the end of the draft. It's hard to do that. But the best teams in the NFL, the ones who win the Super Bowl, hit depth players late in the draft. And that's what the Vikings need to do here. They need to do that with DK, and I believe that they are going to be able to do so. I think that this would be a dynamite draft for the Minnesota Vikings, and I think it's very similar to what they're going to end up doing. I'm Tyler Forness with A to Z Sports. Skol Vikings.